met with the Storybricks guys and like talked through all the different things that can be done and that will be done and are being developed right now. Um, it's so amazing that I honestly think I could sit there and just watch the AI like interact with itself and you know and just do that. That would be so much fun. So yeah, I think the AI really does it for me. I think really like the most completely impactful thing that the game is going to do is the destructibility. The fact that the world is fully destructible means that things are going to happen that have just never happened in other MMOs. And so that's really awesome. Will SOE Mote be added to Landmark? Yes, absolutely. Hopefully fairly soon because we all love SOE Mote. And if you guys aren't familiar, SOE Mote is a technology where you can take your webcam and turn it on, and then your character's face in the game just maps to your face. So, whatever expression you're making, whatever you're doing, other people can see that. And it's pretty incredible. We have it in EverQuest 2, and in EverQuest 2 it was retrofitted into the game, but for Landmark it's actually the characters have been designed for that, and we actually if you saw the SOE Live product reveal for EverQuest Next or any of the demonstrations we've done at PAX or whatever, showing off what the characters can do, what their faces can do, was a big part of that, because it's going to be really cool, and for people who do machinima and stuff like that, they're gonna love it. Have I played DCUO? A little bit, not a ton. The main thing that's stopping me is just time. I don't have enough time to play any of the games I love. And then there's so many more games that I want to play that I can't even touch yet. I picked up Banished and Banner Saga and a whole bunch of smaller, faster games, and even just finding the time to play them at all is challenging. Artkeeper asks, will there be NPCs to populate our builds, like guards, barkeeps, peasants, etc.? Yeah, eventually we plan to have all kinds of NPCs available and the ability for you to program the AI, using our AI tools to give the characters motivation, so they're not just standing there. Kimball asks, will we be able to make tents, drapes with proper reaction to wind and weather? Most likely. I don't see any reason why not, except just something that's going to take us time to implement. So, I can't promise when, but it's the sort of thing that we should be doing. Yeah, the non-flapping claim flag is a little bit of a bummer. But yeah, we'll get that fixed. Paradox says the people who've been putting stuff on Omid's claim are awesome. It's like a tour of islands where I barely have to move. Absolutely, and something that like I said at the beginning of the stream, that I wanted to do this as an experiment because we've been talking a lot about letting people have these permissions to build on each other's claims, but we really haven't been able to gauge what that means when when it's happening, right? And so this is one of we just put this system into the game. This is one of the first times that we're seeing what players will do when you let them. And there's some amount of trolls and some amount of people just building weird, crazy stuff. But one thing that I love is people are coming and just dropping their templates and showing things that they're building on their thing, right? So you can actually just kind of do this, right? Kind of open up a template, a claim, and say, okay, everyone bring your best thing, and then everyone could just drop it down and show it off for a little while, and then be done with it. So it's really cool. Will the AI be able to build stuff themselves, like when setting up camp, gradually building tents? Almost certainly. The limitations on that are still something that we're working on. But I mean, we can tell the AI to do pretty much anything that we want it to. It's really just a question of what's going to be fun and interesting. Dazzler says, "Are you aware that claim flags now droop instead of flap?" Yeah, the Trailblazer flag. Yeah, we're aware. Not exactly sure what's doing that. I'm not exactly sure what's doing that, but we'll get that fixed. I'm going to make an NPC. Oh, hey, Stackus. I'm going to make an NPC Omid that needs scotch. When you give him something to drink, he gets drunk and stumbles into my ice golem cave and starts verbally abusing it. Well, that got weird towards the end there. I mean, the first part was fairly predictable, and then but I have never verbally abused an ice golem to my recollection. There's one of those sentences you don't ever think you're going to say in your life. Will we get more informations about the AI or test how it works? Absolutely. We're gonna get really, really deep into that over time. We're just not ready to talk about it yet. What about improving character creation? Is that on its way? Yeah, absolutely. The tricky thing, and we really appreciate you guys bearing with us, is we've never opened a game this early before, and so the game is super, super unfinished. And so a lot of things are just the bare bones of a system, right? What we needed to make the game playable at all. And so everything you're seeing is incomplete. The character creation, everything. So yeah, absolutely, there's going to be improvements to that. Unubis says, I hope the AI of mobs has to follow the same world rules that we have to follow. Example, we can't walk up the side of a cliff, but if you attack a mob that is at the bottom of a cliff, then they have to walk up the right side to get to you. Yeah, and that's our intention too. We don't want to create... I mean, if the AI can just cheat, then who cares what kind of limitations or cool things it can do, right? Like, it's just going to cheat all the time. Yeah, and so part of it is... with the destructibility, like we want, and this is something Dave has said a lot in videos and presentations, like we expect that players will, do things like blow holes in the ground and then the mobs will fall into them. Well, the mob has to be able to get out. If they don't, then they're just gonna, like you're just gonna get a bow and arrow, you blow a hole in the ground, the mob stands down there and you just shoot it with arrows until it dies. So every mob is going to have to know how to get out of a hole. It's going to have to know how to get, when you're firing arrows at it from up on a cliff, it's going to have to know how to get up on that cliff or understand that it can't and then run away. Force you into a situation where you have to come down. But yeah, I mean, that's absolutely the goal. Candors, we will have... we will have flying. We're just not ready for it yet. But yeah, sit tight. And yeah, try not to punch... Whose baby punched face do I need to sacrifice voxels to? that is a very hostile thing to do. GamerDad says, the building contests I was referring to earlier, will those be down the road a bit? They're going to be ongoing, GamerDad. Like, we're planning to start them very soon. We already have kind of been doing like really low level ones, but we want to do things where we ask like, hey, we specifically want things to be built, right? Like, one of the first ones we're going to do is, we're going to have people, if they want, help us design landmarks. The things that go at the spires, because we want to have a whole bunch of different ones of those. So, that's going to actually roll out fairly soon. We're just trying to write all the contest rules and things like that, to make sure that it all works. But yeah, I mean, we're going to see a lot of those contests, and they're just going to be ongoing with all different sorts of projects. Yeah, and as Cody says, you can template the items that are on the claim right now. So if you see something you like, template it up and take it with you so that you can build it on your own too. That's a pretty good Domino's pizza ad there, Chad. Would I be able to come put my ice golem on your claim? Yeah, if you get here soon. I'm probably not going to stream for too much longer. Maybe another half hour or so. But yeah, I mean, everyone is welcome. And I guess I haven't done this in a while, but so I'm on Serenity Esker, and I'm just northeast of the claim flag. So, or sorry, the spire. The spire's here, and my claim is here. So definitely come on by and build anything you like. And I think that at least for a couple days, I'm gonna shut down the you can build anything on my claim, just because I want to save this and show it to some people at work Monday. So I want to make sure that it doesn't all get just like deleted or anything. But it's so awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming and doing this. It's really way cooler than I had hoped when I started doing it. And yeah, it's funny too, because a lot of this stuff, like this staircase that I just went up, was one of the first things that got built. It's still here. I was expecting a lot more people to be sort of like deleting each other's stuff or improving each other's stuff, but it looks like there's enough space that everyone who wants to build something just kind of went off and built it. Still very impressed with this spaceship. It's so cool. And the Ixar statue has really gotten some definition in there. Pretty solid. Let's see. Will EQN be able to have armies of NPCs spawn and attack rival faction cities? Yeah, pretty much. The question is, so we have a thing called rallying calls for EverQuest Next, where what do you call it? Characters can sort of come together and, have like an objective, like the whole server can have these objectives. And so some of those are going to take the form of things like an army attacking Kinos or whatever. That's going to be pretty interesting. And like, then the whole server is going to have to come together and figure out what they want to do about that. Oh, excuse me, guys. Let's see. As we develop more character creation options, will we have to delete our characters to experience those, or will we be able to edit our existing characters? Artkeeper, we're looking at a system where we want to have a lot of flexibility in your ability to change your character up for Landmark. So I'm guessing you won't have to delete your character to experience the new options, but, we still have to just see how things get implemented. But yeah, our goal is you don't have to delete characters. You can just, change them, customize them with a lot more flexibility than in most MMOs. Bardtail, I haven't seen that. If you can send me an email about it, I would love to hear more details. We have the Onod. Any possibility of getting the Trendane Twirl? Well, so the Onod was actually a player suggestion. Somebody basically, I did that roundtable video. that had the ONOD, what became the ONOD in it. And a player suggested to Dave, I think just tweeted Dave and said that that should be in the game. And Dave was like, "You're right, done." And then just made it happen. So, if you want to get something like that in the game, I highly recommend, hitting up Dave Georgeson or Terry Michaels with the suggestion. Are you going to make the game where lower end computers can run it? Yeah, Cruz. The goal is to certainly optimize the game from where it is. We know for sure that the system requirements are a little daunting for some computers. So we're trying to create efficiency and lower those. I don't know how much, at the end of the day, how much lower we're going to be able to get it, but we're going to do our best. Will we be able to receive money to a PayPal account from Player Studio? From what I've seen currently, the answer is no. We'll be basically like mailing checks to people, but it's not outside of the realm of possibility to use PayPal. It's just something we have to work out with our finance department and our legal team. And anytime those folks are involved, it's going to be complicated. So for folks that are just joining, welcome. My name is Omid Dariani. I'm the Senior Brand Manager of the EverQuest franchise. We're celebrating our 15th anniversary this weekend, so kind of a nice time to celebrate. If you haven't followed me, definitely hit the follow button down here. You can also follow me on Twitter, YouTube. You can also buy me a drink if you're so inclined, and there's information on that below as well. But I'm just trying to answer questions. We're playing Landmark. I have opened up my claim so that anyone can build on it. And as you can see, people are building some pretty cool stuff. This thing is actually like pretty amazing. It's like a puzzle house. Oops, keep clicking the wrong thing. But yeah, if you're not careful when you're doing it, you can knock yourself out and back down onto the ground. Thanks for following Jimmy DZ. Appreciate it. But this is so cool. This is like those stupid games when you're, the like card trick when you're a kid that, you could hide the dollar in. So funny. It looks like some people have changed this since the guy originally put it down. But really cool. Really cool stuff. Whoops, there I go. Whee! And luckily falling damage isn't in the game just yet, so I'm still alive. Bardtail, just send me an email or send me a Twitch message. Cody says, building Spire's first project was my idea. I mean, we get a lot of our good ideas from the community, and that's, one of the reasons that we did this, open development, an open alpha was that we really like, what our community is saying, and we really like the idea of, working with you guys to make stuff better. And honestly, like, things are way better than they would have been if it was just us working on this stuff. Like, significantly better, which is really cool. We never, there's just game design things we wouldn't have come up with. There's ideas we wouldn't have seen, like microvoxels as an example, without the community. So that's pretty awesome. Oh, hey, Devil May Strike. Nice to see you. Also, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. I will pour myself another drink in just a second here. Because the good news is that she just ran out of scotch. So just about time for that. Yes. The only trick is I have to figure out which one to have. For folks who have joined me for streams before, you may notice that my venue has changed slightly from the wine racks behind me to now having a Scotch collection, which is probably a little bit better since I drink Scotch more than wine. Actually, I'm going to drink this one. I actually just recently got this as well. This is a Bruichladdich, and it's called Port Charlotte, the Peat Project. And it's a very, very smoky, super peaty one. Maybe a little bit hard to read. It's kind of small. But this is it's really good stuff. A good friend of mine recommended it to me a few months back, and I just hadn't been able to find it. I was just in a shop the other day and they had it. So cheers, Devil May Strike. Thanks very much. Whew. That is a rough one. Unubis asks, is Landmark going to have a system like Redstone in Minecraft? Most likely. It's something that we were kind of on the fence about having originally, and it's just been a consistent piece of feedback. Your roof has changed quite a bit. A consistent piece of feedback that people want it. And so we're just kind of looking at different options for implementing it and seeing what we want to do with it. You know, it probably won't be exactly like Redstone in Minecraft. But yeah, I mean, the idea of being able to, you know, manipulate things and get them to move, I think is really important. Let's see. Oh, hey, Luckland. So Minecraft WB just showed up. If you guys don't know him and haven't checked out his channel, you definitely should. He's been primarily streaming Minecraft, but started streaming Landmark a couple weeks ago, and he and I have been chatting a lot. He has fallen in love with the game and is streaming it more and more. And his stream is really cool. He's a Twitch partner, and he's got like a great community, and it's really just a positive environment, and he's so much fun to like hang out with. You should definitely follow him as well, and check out his channel. But so Luckland, and you know he also goes by Luckland, which you know tells you he's been playing EverQuest for a long time. What we're doing here is, since we've got the group building in, I've just gone ahead and opened up permission to everybody, and so this is just all stuff that people are building, and it's pretty cool. Some pretty interesting stuff in here. But my claim is on Serenity Esker. It's just northeast of the Spire, so you're more than welcome to come by. I probably won't be streaming for more than another 20 or 30 minutes, but yeah, some great stuff getting done over here. Oh, this is not the most compelling thing to look at. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep up with the chat too. Good night, Narnia. Grast asks, can the money we make be directly converted to station cash? Well, certainly you can, at the very least, take any any cash that we send you and buy station cash with it. We're looking at mechanics for if we could just, you know, give you the option to take your payment in station cash. Obviously that has some advantages, but again, Player Studio is very complicated. It's a tremendous, I cannot understate how complicated it is, because you're dealing with, you know, finance, legal, tax law, international tax law, and then all these individual creators who have to deal with paperwork and things like that, as well as, you know, creating this multi-use marketplace that can be interfaced with so many different ways. It's one of the most complicated aspects of this project, and one of the more complicated projects I've ever seen. So, you know, stuff like that there are things we absolutely want. You know, I don't know when or if we'll be able to get them done, but yeah, we're certainly talking about it. Yeah, Serial. I'm sure Nvidia is working on updating the drivers. You know, we're updating the game sort of every day at this point because we're in alpha, and they're making sure that their drivers work with it. When falling damage is implemented, can we have parachutes? I don't know, Nalissa, but that's a great idea. I will certainly suggest that. I would bet they've already thought of it, but but I think it's hilarious. Dazzler says, all questions on races being added to Landmark seem to be being ignored. We're still in the process of making up our minds on what we want to do there, so I don't really have any good information for you on it, so sorry. Wolf, what do you mean? He says, anyone else feel like they're lagging behind with Landmark? I'd love to hear a little bit more detail. Brad Power says, the Scotch shelf is looking a little full. Are you planning to expand the shelving? Well, so the thing is that underneath is actually a whole display cabinet, and right now there's nothing in that. So I think there's plenty of room to grow. Well, I skip around for you. For you, Devil May Strike, absolutely. How you doing there, Lennon Luther? And thanks so much to everyone who's joined me in the game. It's pretty awesome, and I apologize that I haven't been interacting in the chat there at all. It's just simply too difficult to keep up with the Twitch chat, with the game chat, as well as play the game and run the stream. I'm still fairly new to running streams, so it's a little bit difficult for me still. But this one's going okay, I think. Oh man, look at that. That is certainly Slash Strut right there. That is very satisfying. Thanks, Bartail. I'll check the PM later. Cruz says, can you make it easier to get the building tools? Maybe. It's really, this is alpha. We're still testing everything out. Definitely, those sorts of progression things are being evaluated and will probably change. I just don't know. Don't know for sure which way or anything like that. Oh no! Look at that. Some good kicks. This is a pretty satisfying emote, I think. Alright, let's see. Oh, thanks, Minecraft WB. And seriously, guys, you should definitely check out his channel, and Devil May Strike's emote there is one of his follower emotes. But yeah, they're really a good time to hang out with, and I've already made a few friends hanging out in his streams. Oh, and look at that! We just ran out of Prime Grapplers. Pretty much right on time. Good work there. Can we get light switches in game so we can link a group of lights to individual switches? I imagine that will certainly happen. It may just take a while. Oh, Kramit. Kramit the Fierce. It's a great name. You can certainly say hi to your wife for me. I'm sorry I didn't see her. We got some pretty serious dancing going on now. Flamesway says, if Station Cash can be given, can that be extended to EU players? We are certainly trying very hard to extend Player Studio to the EU. Nothing new to report there, but is on our priority list of things to do. And I actually brought up if we could do it in Station Cash, couldn't we just go ahead and extend the whole program to Europe and was told no. And the reason is international tax law is much more complicated than U.S. tax law, and you don't even want to mess with any part of it on its own. You have to take it as a whole plan. Does SOE have any intention of using PayPal for paying out for Player Studio? Not currently. It's something that we've looked at and something that a lot of us would like to see done. It's just, it's a very complicated program, and, we have to make sure that from an accounting standpoint, from a legal standpoint, and from a tax standpoint, that everything we do on it satisfies our accountants, our lawyers, that sort of thing. Because worst thing in the world would be, that we have to shut the program down because the IRS says so or something like that. So we definitely are taking it. This is fun. Sarai and I are dancing. Taking it a few steps at a time, make sure that we do it right. Just use Bitcoins. Tell them to stuff their finance laws. Yeah. Let me run that one by our lawyers. I think that'd actually be... I actually am definitely going to say that just to see what they say. I can imagine the face that the dude is going to make. Should be pretty hilarious. Yeah. Oh, and just received another drink purchase from Aaron Nerian. Sorry if I butchered that, but thank you very much, sir. Do appreciate it. Let's see. Yeah, and let me show you guys real quick again where I am. So I'm on Serenity Esker. These are my claims, and I am just northeast of the Spire. So the Spire is here, and I'm here. So definitely come by and check it out and build whatever you like. Oh, we got a little dance party here. I really am enjoying the backwards walking, the backwards strut. I actually think I'm going to do a lot of strutting around. This is pretty, this is pretty enjoyable. Let's see. Do you think we could have hang gliders? I don't know, but that's a great idea. I'll ask about that. Let's see. Yes, long live the Tear Doll. Talisker is your favorite scotch? It's pretty good. I like Talisker. It's funny, too, because Darren McPherson, our lead game designer, his handle is Talisker Dev. And so when I first met him, I was like, oh, yeah, this guy's going to be my friend. We're going to like scotch. And it turned out, he actually doesn't drink, but it turned out that he worked in some sort of liquor store or packaging warehouse or something for a long time. And so, moving the boxes around or whatever, he would see, he saw Talisker on some of them and just thought it sounded really awesome, so he made it his character name. Which I thought was really cool after I got over the disappointment of, it's like, okay, well, we're not going to be drinking together. Excuse me. How do you find me in-game, Watt? Oh, hey, Watts. I'm on Serenity Esker, just northeast of the Spire. So the Spire is here, and I'm up here. And not sure exactly how long I'm going to be on, but definitely come by. And I've just, opened my claims up, and some of the viewers were generous enough to give me the crafting materials to get the other two claims in place. But the claims are completely open. Anyone can build anything. And so people have been just building random cool stuff. It's been awesome. Oh, I see. So Wolf says, feels like he's lagging behind because not the best builder, haven't been spending enough time to be. And, well, as a person who is never going to be the best builder, I can certainly empathize. And, it's interesting, too, because I think there's going to be right now the game feels like it's all about building, but it's going to be about a lot more than that as we go. There's going to be adventuring and collecting and crafting and progression, and people will need to get the resources for the builders. So I think that there's going to be a lot of different ways to be good at this game. Just just not quite there yet. Thank you for coming by, EQNL. Have a good night. Yeah, EvilFX says, "Oh my God, please on the light switch. I have approaching 200 lights on my tower now." I totally know what you mean. A lot of folks feel your pain, so we're working on it. I think it's something that's just a matter of time. Free Flow says, "Where is the best place to post our ideas for the game?" So the easiest, probably the easiest place, the best place is going to be on our forums at eqnlandmark.com, and then the forums, and then beyond that, because there you have enough room, you can write whatever you want. Beyond that, like tweeting if it's short enough, tweet it to me or Dave Georgeson or Terry Michaels, Jeff Butler. Just tell us what you're thinking. We've already seen ideas just even on Twitter that we are we don't know if we'll incorporate them in the game, but have certainly altered our thinking. Reddit is also a good place to post it. We really kind of comb all the social media for EverQuest Next, and for Landmark. So any of those places will certainly get onto our radar. Maybe Omid's claim should become the Mad God's Temple. Well, it would fit, right? Have a good night, Paradox. Thanks for coming by. Will we be able to create particle effects to add items to surfaces? I'm not sure about that. It's a really cool idea. Will you be able to add particle effects? Probably. I'm just not sure if you would be able to ever create them. As an artist, create new particle effects. So I don't know, but that's a really cool idea. Oh, and Silky Feather has just sent me a drink. So thank you very much, Silky Feather. Do appreciate it. Cheers. And this glass is almost out, so I'm going to have to head on to the next one pretty soon. Omid's new stream should be called Scotch Talk. Yeah, well, I like to talk about different stuff. One of the things, too, I've noticed is that I can talk about a few topics that, not all streamers can, just because I am, very deeply in the game industry. So I get really excited to actually chat about things like, when people ask about, how do I get in the game industry, being sort of the most commonly requested question, or just, talking about what's going on in the game industry, as well as, I like talking about stuff that's not in the game industry, right? Because, we're all gamers. I assume you're a gamer if you're sitting here, listening to me talk about Landmark. But, we all have other interests, too, and other things we do. And, a few of mine are, I really like Scotch. I really like dressing well. There's a few things that, that, advice I can give that helps people. And it's really cool, I think more than anything when people say hey, something that you've done has impacted my life in a positive way, that means a lot to me. So it's something that I like to bring, everywhere I go. So, if you have questions about, anything about how to get into the game industry or what you're doing or what you should be doing on those fronts, I'm happy to chat about that too. Nearly 4 a.m. in Belgium. Well, it's about time for bed then. Zabra, yes, this is open to the public. This this is my claims, like my personal claims, on Serenity Esker. So I'm just northeast of the spire. The spire is here, and my claim is here. But you can definitely come by. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be streaming, but whoops. But you're more than welcome to come by and build whatever you want. Everything here, when I started the stream, which was about 3.5, 4 hours ago, there was nothing here. Like it was one claim and it was empty. Seriously, I had 3 dirt blocks stacked up, and everything here has been built by players who have come and watched my stream, and it is so awesome. Like some of this stuff is incredible. Let me show you my favorite one, and I can only really show it to you from above, but check that out. It's the EverQuest title screen. Yeah, it's EverQuest loading. Please wait, and you can even see the break for, you know, there's like art in each of these things. That's so cool. All right, let me try to catch up. I've fallen way behind on the chat at this point. Rave Starsight asks, what's to prevent players from purchasing player-made items and then sharing them via templates? That's a great question. I'm not exactly sure. The answer is something. I just don't know what it is. So I will definitely bring that up and figure it out. All right, let me try to catch up on the chat here. Keone asks, is there any chance we'll be able to sell our own resources in Player Studio? It's something that we actually discussed and debated very vigorously. And one of the big problems that came up was just how to balance it, because of, you know, in Player Studio, players get a portion of the revenue, and it ended up just like not really working from a financial model. And you know, the fact that we would end up sort of like competing against ourselves, and like everyone, like there's a lot of complexity in putting resources on Player Studio, and we ended up just feeling like it wasn't worth doing it that way. And then, you know, there was another argument which I thought was really valuable too, which is the Player Studio is about art. It's about creativity, and you know, while it certainly requires work to gather resources and skill to gather rare resources, it didn't feel like the same thing as Player Studio. So it's something that I imagine will be an ongoing discussion, but I don't think there are any plans for it to actually happen. How about a toggle for digging and chopping? That's a good idea, Silky Feather. I'll definitely bring that up. Do I have any other hobbies? Shooting, for example. Well, no, I don't do a lot of shooting, actually. Never really have. Let me find my next scotch. And then, let's see, for other hobbies, oh, here's a good one. Other hobbies, like, I like to throw parties. We like to throw, like, pretty epic parties at the house. Travel is a big one. Oh, sorry. I should show you guys what I'm drinking. So this is Jura. And Jura is another one of the, it's actually like pretty widely available, but not really well known. And it's not too expensive for the tenure. It ends up just being, I don't know, like $30, $35 a bottle. And it's really good, like inoffensive, just sweet, solid scotch. So I highly recommend it. So cheers, Silky Feather. Thanks very much. catch up on questions. And see, I love this. Zephyra actually built this purple and red love Omid thing over here. She asked what my favorite colors were, and then made that. And then there's this thing, which I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I got horribly caught inside of those spikes, and I ended up having to just like blow a hole in the bottom to escape. So I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like a maze or something, but but in any case, I can't use it. Does anyone know what that is? Oh, thank you very much. It's a good point, Free Flow. I didn't even think to just turn that off, and now it's much easier to see this awesome EverQuest logo thing. And the other stuff, too. It's really cool how much stuff you guys have built in just a couple hours. Look at this eye. This eye has been here the whole time. It looks like someone added like a wound or something. Hey, someone else wrote my name. That's cute. And there's a lot of people wrote my name. So I'm going to have to explain to people that I didn't do this, because if someone comes to my claim and just thinks that I built this, then they're going to think I am frickin' crazy. Yeah. Love this portrait of me over here, too. It's fairly accurate, I would say. I think Sir Ryan made that. The game stream says revisit resources, but what about having a vendor on your claim that can sell things? It's something else we've discussed. I'm not sure where we've landed on it exactly, but certainly something we've discussed. You know, the ability to sort of like run your own shop, that kind of thing. I mean, and you know, whether or not you can do it for real money, sell resources, you can certainly buy, sell, trade resources for in-game currency as much as you want. And we highly encourage that. So, I think that that by itself, that's going to be the way that people interact with resources much more than through our shop. Oh, the spikes is a maze. See, because what I did when I went up into that thing is I grappled right into it, and then I got stuck, and so there was nothing I could do, and so I just immediately, had to blow a hole in it to kind of get out. Kind of felt bad, but there was nothing else I could do. Oh, there's Lucklin up here. And so Lucklin, and Zaitsev. So, Lucklin plays a lot of Minecraft, and that's Minecraft WB in the chat that you guys should follow. And Zaitsev is my moderator, who's been doing an excellent job today, so please thank him, and definitely give him a follow as well. He's been streaming and is pretty awesome. And I guess since Lucklin is dancing, I gotta be dancing too. Have a little party up here. And Lennon Luthor is legendary neurotoxin from Into the Portal and his own stream. Another person you should definitely be following. Let's see. Do you have plans to keep gold farmers from China and other countries out of the game? Yes, we are big fans of keeping gold farmers out of our games. And one of the ways that we're doing that is by selling resources on the marketplace ourselves, which, basically sets the price for, resources, right? And we don't feel that the resource prices that we're talking about are so high that gold farmers could, massively undercut us. And so that's one of the ways. We have a lot of different tactics for dealing with gold farmers, but they're none loved by SOE. Shots of scotch. Kramit, I think in some places you get arrested for taking shots of scotch. A crime to drink scotch so quickly. Uh, but yeah, I try to drink things that I enjoy the taste of rather than drinking drinking rapidly. Excuse me. Let's see. How will multiple submissions, same or similar to Player Studio, be handled? That's a good question, and I think a lot of our Player Studio policy is going to be created as we go. It's certainly, like many things we're doing, it's really new, and so we definitely know we won't have all the answers on day one. A lot of this stuff is going to be we're going to learn about it as we go. And, we're hoping that the community in many ways will sort out problems like that, right? Like if somebody just rips off somebody else's design, then, the more original design, can succeed through the community. But we'll see. If we have to take aggressive action against it, then we'll look at how to do that. Thanks for the follow, Stingery. Appreciate it. And for folks who are just joining us, if you haven't, would certainly appreciate it if you follow the channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and YouTube. You can also buy me a drink if you like. There's information on that down below. But yeah, would appreciate it. Just got another donation from Cody. Thank you very much, sir. It says claim. Terrible series of puns here. Claim your next drink on me. Cheers, man. Thank you for the follow, Actam. Let's see. Try to catch up on the chat too. How long did it take to develop the engine for Landmark? Thanks for the follow, Xander. It took quite a while, actually, and part of it is, it's hard to say because part of it was like game design, and EverQuest Next went through several iterations before we landed on this one. And so, the process of coming up with the idea of like, hey, what if we could just destroy the whole world? Wouldn't that make everything a lot more interesting? And then from there, figuring out that we could do it and how we would do it. Thanks, Seth. Welcome aboard. It took a couple years, I think, before we got to alpha. Thanks. Welcome, Tinkle Death. Great name. My favorite thing. So now I have the notifications pop up whenever I get a drink or a follower. Is just seeing all of your hilarious names. Thanks, Kramit the Fierce. So, I mean, it just cracks me up. Just sit here all day for that. But yeah. Let's see. Is the Landmark engine planned to be used for any games beyond the EQ franchise? Nothing that we want to talk about just yet, FreeFlow. So, good question. Interesting question. Tinkle Death says, I'm trying to find an item database or something for Landmark, but having no luck. So a gentleman who was in here earlier actually was launching a site called eqntome.com, like eqntome.com. And it's still very early in its development, but it's pretty cool and has kind of what you're talking about. It's one of those things that's going to be tricky to keep up to date, but definitely worth checking out. Let's see. Is axe creation working as intended? It took probably 50 attempts to upgrade a rare copper axe to any gold axe that was better. I'm only on attempt 9 of upgrading. Imruk, yeah. all of those systems are in testing and refinement. Being in alpha, and this is the sort of thing I feel like a broken record sometimes for saying it, but being in alpha, we're opening up a game much earlier than is typically opened, and because of that, we're seeing, you guys are seeing for the many cases the first time situations where things don't necessarily make sense because we're just starting to work on them, right? Like, it's very possible that we just have, and I don't know this for sure, but it's very possible that, the percentage chances on one of the axe creations is out of whack with the other ones. And that's something that we'll have to fix. And that's the kind of thing that typically happens before players ever see a game. So, the fact that you guys are seeing it so early means that you're also seeing a lot of that testing. So yeah, expect that to get better. So you're just trying to catch up on the chat, folks. And one of the things, too, I've said a few times is I really appreciate how positive, constructive, and interesting the chat is in my stream. This is my, I think, 5th stream, and, I've just sometimes done nothing but talk to folks because the chat is so good. So thank you so much for all the great questions, all the great stuff in here. Are there any plans for a web interface for the marketplace? Yes, we will almost certainly have a web interface for the marketplace at some point. It's really a question of timing and implementation, as you can see from looking at the marketplace. And I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on that since we just put that in as well. But as you can see, it's very rough, it's very early. From an internal perspective, I don't know, I would say it's probably about 20% of the way done, to where it's gonna end up. But yeah, I mean, implementing a web version is certainly on the list, just not something that's going to happen until we get a little bit further along on the marketplace. Oh, I think my favorite thing about Jura is it has this, the scotch I'm drinking has this very subtle honey flavor to it at the end, which makes it a little bit sweeter than most of the scotches. Really good if you're sort of trying out scotch and not sure if you like it yet, because some of the scotches, especially the ones that people like, can be very, very, very strong. And if you try one of the stronger ones first, ever want to drink scotch again. Xander asks, for founders, will they get anything towards EQ Next when it becomes available? So this question it's a really good question, and it gets into, and I talk about this a lot, sort of the legal side of things. And when we promise something, like if we tell you that you're buying something, you'll notice, right, that on the Founders Pack page it says closed beta, you're going to get your stuff for a closed beta on or before March 31st. And that's because if we don't put a date on it, then we can't really sell it. It's dishonest, right? Because if we don't put a date on it, then what happens when, hypothetically it's April, May, June, July, whatever, and you haven't got your stuff? That's terrible. It's a terrible experience for consumers. And so there's a lot of legal protection related to that. You buy something, there's a reasonable expectation you're going to get it soon. And, either we need to tell you when that is, or we need to, or the expectation is 30 days. So since, we're still in development on EQN, it's really difficult for us to put a date, to promise something like you would get this or get that. And so it would be very difficult from a legal perspective for us to say anything that you get in Landmark, gives you something in EverQuest Next. So it's not to say that nothing will transfer over or carry over, or there won't be any benefits for Trailblazers in Landmark, but Because of the legal ramifications, we don't want to promise anything, and so we tell you like, don't expect anything, and anything that ends up transferring over will be like a bonus, and we'll see when we get there. But yeah, so that's kind of where we are with that. Silky Feather says maybe there could be a way that the name tag on claims can be locked while building. This was actually one of the very first things that Lucklin, Minecraft WB, said to me, was that that needs to happen, because and I'm just going to go back onto my claim because you can't see it here, but like if I'm trying to build up here, right, and then oh no, I keep getting this thing, right, oh I want to grapple, but I can't see what I'm grappling onto. So it's something that we definitely know about. Like, we're just trying to figure out what the right thing to do is, because it also serves a bunch of really useful purposes as well. Just so it's it's a balancing act for us, and we'll figure it out. But it's a really good suggestion. Maybe I should stop dancing. Stand by. Stand by. Did you get that? Let's see. Could I log out and log back in? A lot of stuff doesn't appear to be showing up. Yeah, I could do that real quick. Hang on. Hopefully it won't crash. Last time I logged out, it crashed. Zaitsev says, you guys make my job super easy. And that's true. And, it's really cool because Zaitsev is volunteering to be here, and we really appreciate that. But it's really great to have, a group of people here who are just really awesome. So thank you guys. Thanks, Denver Ken. Appreciate it. Mary Pell says, I'm tempted to just open up my claim and let people build. I love what's going on this claim. Yeah, it's been really cool. Like, there has been, I don't know if you've been here the whole time, there have been a few trolls, a few, like, oh, hey, you're right. Look at that. A few, like, negative experiences. But, I guess that's just par for the course, right? Yeah, there's a lot more stuff. That was a good call, man. Yeah, so I gotta kind of explore around and see what else there is now. There's that down there. But yeah, I think it's interesting because, one of the things we've said is that we're going to allow, people to open up and, let their claims, excuse me, whoops, caught on the thing. That thing wasn't there before either. But allow people to, just set an open permission of what will happen. And I think that you're seeing part of what will happen, right? Like, this is some pretty random stuff going on, and it's pretty cool, but at the same time, like, there's also the chance that someone's just going to open up a giant hole and, delete everything that you did. So, I think, like, for me, I'm going to turn the permissions back down as soon as I stop streaming, just because I want to show some people at work what happened after a few hours of people collaborating. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. But if you do open it up, let me know how it goes. When you pay to alpha test, you get patient people. That's true, and that's one of the reasons that we did do and recognize like $60 or $100 to be in the alpha is not cheap, but we really wanted people who were serious about it and who were going to understand that a bunch of things are going to be broken, right? Like, just hypothetically, imagine a situation where we made alpha completely open. Anyone can do it. Who's going to come, right? Is going to be like a bunch of kids, and they're going to be like, okay, where's this thing? Where's this thing? Like, where's this thing? And, oh, this thing is broken. This thing is broken. And when you say, hey, it's alpha, that means something different to, the kind of person who's willing to pay than the kind of person who isn't. So yeah, I mean, we really appreciate it, but we really, we did it on purpose because we really wanted to make sure that the kind of person we wanted and the kind of person that was going to give us good feedback would come. Do I ever drink ales like Kilt Lifter or Guinness? I've certainly drank Guinness. I haven't had Kilt Lifter, but it is a good name for a beer. Is anyone good at building mosaics? Can pay in resources or tools? This is really cool too, what Free Flow is doing. And this is something that we expect to see happen a lot, which is that people have expertises in the game and are willing to sort of barter for them. Oh, that's really sweet. The people I've encountered on the stream so far have been really some of the best folks I've met. If this is any indication for the community, I'm going to fall in love so much I might never quit. Yeah, and thanks for saying that. I think that's really great. And oh, hey, there's a French flag now too. But one of the things that I've said a few times that I am really serious about is that you guys, anyone who's here right now, is very much the kind of person that we're relying on to make this game and make this community good. Like, we recognize that when we go to closed beta and you can get in for $20, a much broader group of people are going to show up. And when you get to open beta and it's free, then a much broader group of people are going to show up. And we know, that a lot of those people are going to be great and we're going to love them, but it's also going to bring, some of the more negative aspects of communities with it. And so the folks that are here now are the ones that are going to make the game good. Like, you guys are going to build the guilds, and lead the community through example and through your own work and gameplay style to make our community good. So I really appreciate it and hope you guys take that to heart a little bit and will help us, because the positivity and great things that we're seeing now, they can continue, but only if we all are setting that example. See you later, Rikos. Thanks for coming by. Will you get damage from a cactus? I hope so. I'm not 100% sure, but I definitely hope so. When will the first Scotch LAN? I thought that said Ian. I was like, Scotch LAN party be at my house. Well, that's already happened a couple times, Kramit. But, there will be another one before too long, I'm sure. Oh. Other than utter failure of the game, what's my biggest fear for Landmark, and what are we doing to prevent it? That's a really interesting question. I think... Sorry, I'm just coughing a lot. I think because I've been talking for a while. I think that my biggest fear is that the sandbox nature of the game and the broadness of what the game can do and be will be so very sorry so broad that it loses cohesiveness. Someone just opened that door and dropped me through the floor. But that it loses focus or never gets focus. And so people look at it and say, hey, this thing is cool, but I don't know what it is or what I would do with it. And so what we're doing about that is we're doing a lot of things to try to prevent that from happening. From having building contests that give very structured experiences to people who need them, to highlighting what other players are doing so that people don't come in the game and go, well, I don't know what this is or what I'd do. But yeah, I would say that's it. That's a really good question. Speaking of trolls, can you demonstrate how to delete a character? Yeah. So the first thing that you do, it's pretty much the first thing you do. And if you want, there's also a cheat for unlimited resources. You just hit Alt F4. That button actually releases, I think it's 10,000 burled wood. Definitely went through the transformation from good to toxic on WoW, so it can definitely relate. Yeah, and I mean, a lot of games go through that, and it's painful, you know. But I think right now you've got a great opportunity to, you know, meet other people who feel the same way that you do. You know, a great opportunity to, you know, see what a community can be. Whoops. What a community can be. Oh, this is cool. I love this this microvoxel thing. I guess that Dave Georgeson did it, but just like sort of primer on how to do it and which pieces you can use so that you can grab them. Definitely worth templating. Oh man, oh no. Oh no. That is horrifyingly accurate. That's, yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to just catch up on the live stream and then go, because nothing is gonna top this, right? I am just stunned. On the note of the alpha community being so cool, any chance we can get an alpha specific server for beta? Probably not, Envy, because like that thing that I'm, you know, with great power comes great responsibility, right? You know, that thing that that is special, that, you know, we really appreciate in the alpha people. We don't want you guys to just segregate yourselves and then never interact with anyone else. We want you to teach people like how to be positive members of the community, like set that example for people. And you know, if we do that, like there will be, you know, you won't need to have like the alpha specific server where it's only the people that you think are cool. You know, we can actually like create a community that is a little bit more positive. Yeah, Candors, the code is Alt F4. That one works. But if you're on Mac, it's Command Q. And that'll work in pretty much any game. It's actually a really, really good command. Ritobsgaben. Yeah, I work for Sony Online. I'm the senior brand manager for the EverQuest franchise, so EQ, EQ2, EQ Next, and Landmark. Are there lessons or patterns from Eve or A Tale in the Desert that can attack the freeform confusion problem? Absolutely. And we have a lot of really, really hardcore Eve players on the team. The guy who actually runs the Player Studio program is one of the very senior people in one of the high-level Eve alliances. I don't want to say which one. But it's pretty impressive. Like, some of the stuff that they do is pretty impressive, and we think that there's opportunities in things that they could be doing that would be really good too. So yeah, we take a lot of inspiration from Eve. Well, that scotch is done. Yes, this black and white picture of me is pretty impressive. Like, actually, it's pretty rare that I go speechless, but you got me. That is just horrifying. Horrifying and awesome. So yeah, thank you to whoever did that. I will find a way to get revenge on you. Don't you worry. Are there any plans for public build areas? Not necessarily claim size, but small town centers where people can do stuff together. Uh, it's something that's been discussed for sure. We're not exactly sure what to do with it yet. Oh, this is good too. Check out Lucklin here. He looks so epic. Oops. Yeah. There you go. There's a good wallpaper. We're not exactly sure what we would want to do with those kinds of spaces, just because, you know, like, we're not exactly sure what people are going to do with this group building ability. You know, this is, and I've said it a couple times, this is one of the first experiments with it that we've done, you know, and I'm just doing on my personal channel, and checking out, like, Bishop says that he made the image, and that I am the overlord of his dungeon. That's adorable and disturbing. Oh, this is a good angle too. So awesome, dude. So awesome. But yeah, I mean, we don't really, like, we're testing right now what people are going to do when they have the ability to build in groups and things like that. And I mean, I think that I would categorize today, wow, there's 3 of these now. I would categorize today as a mixed success, but, you know, certainly a very good success, right? Like, we had trolls and we've had some problems, and obviously this is a disjointed mess of insanity that folks have created, but, you know, it's awesome. Like, this is just incredible, and I think it really, like, speaks to what we are hoping Landmark would do. You know, so it's just a question of, like, okay, so if we were going to put structure on this, what would we do? Like, what is the right strategy? And, you know, that's something too that I'm really curious about hearing from you. Like, now that we've seen a little bit of group building, and maybe what I'll do too, maybe I'll just template all this stuff and then delete it, and then do this again and see what happens. But, you know, like, now that you've seen this, what does it mean? You know? It's just very difficult to say right now. Yeah, how did they do that wall so quickly? I also want to know that. That's very impressive. Like, the level of detail is incredible. You ever had one of those planes land in your yard? Luckily, no. We haven't had any airplane crashes. More scotch now. Yeah, I should probably pour some more scotch. I think some folks have bought me drinks that I haven't actually poured. So let me see what the next one should be. It's starting to get to the point where it should probably be on the cheaper end, but certainly can do that. Does anyone have Trader Joe's near their house? I know they're not everywhere, but if you have Trader Joe's near your house, and if you like the Laphroaig, Lagavulin, kind of Islay, really smoky scotches, this is the best thing ever. This is called Finlagen, and they sell it at Trader Joe's, and I think it's like $19 or $20 a bottle. And it's like the leftovers from either from Laphroaig, Lagavulin, or Talisker. They won't say which, but it's, it's pretty young, and like compared to that stuff, it's not, it's not great, but it's also like a $20 bottle of scotch, and it's pretty freaking good. So, cheers to everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming and building all of this awesome, insane stuff. Have I seen the mega claim? 9 people, 27 claims connected. I haven't, Fubar. Where is that? Can you send it to me in a Twitch message so that I can check it out later? I would love to see that. Bishop says he saved and templated this giant picture of me. Goal was to make a massive dungeon. It was kind of tongue-in-cheek joke that imagined me as the overlord of the dungeon controlling all the monsters. Well, Bishop, all I have to say to that is oh nod. I highly approve of your plan, and I would be happy to be the overlord of your dungeon. And I'm very excited to see it. So let me know when it's in shape to check out, because yes, I endorse your plan. That is awesome. We got a bed and a treasure chest up here. Just some really cool stuff that people are building. That's really just great to see everyone. I actually didn't really count to see how many people are here, but it seems like about probably 100 or so people have come through since I've been on the game. Have a good night, Chad. Thanks for coming. $2 Chuck, yeah. Oh, but Maddox, they actually raised the price, and so I moved to Boston. So sorry, what we're talking about is there at Trader Joe's. There's a brand of wine called Charles Shaw that's $1.99. And it was called $2 Chuck. Actually, I think at this point, because I'm gonna be done pretty soon, I'm gonna go ahead and shut down the build permissions, so that nothing gets like too deleted. But they have a kind of wine called Charles Shaw, and it's $2 a bottle. So everyone calls it $2 Chuck. And when I moved to Boston, they had raised the price to $3. It was, because they had to ship it across the country. So it was $3 Chuck, and that was like one of the most disappointing things I have ever seen in my life. Yeah, so I just Rave had asked if I could type out the name of the scotch from Trader Joe's. Actually, I misspelled it. It's yeah. The Norhathian says, you promised free test mounts to everyone to get back to the Spire for all attendees, right? Absolutely, the Norhathian. Well remembered. You can claim your free test mount right now by hitting Alt F4. That will immediately put the mount into your inventory, and actually it may even teleport you back to the Spire immediately. So yeah, definitely do that. Just got another drink from Aurelian. Says a deposit for some scotch and some fashion advice one day. Cheers. And so I think I'm gonna ramp down here. So if there are any more questions or anything like that, I'd be happy to answer them real quick. But yeah, I think I need to go ahead and end the stream. It's been, I don't know, almost coming up on 5 hours now. Let's see. It's impressive that Omid can keep control even drunk. Well, so I've gotten a couple questions about what a brand manager does, and that is one of the things that I do. We do a lot of business, a lot of like meetings with partners and that sort of thing, in very like entertainment oriented, environments, and you end up getting good at like not saying things you don't mean to. Ravestar, that's a nice try there with your meta troll, but I'm not gonna fall for that. That would be a good way to end the stream, right? It's like, oh well, I bet it works fine on OBS, right? Uh, and then Alt F4, and then it ends. I learned that trick all the way back in my IRC days, back when I was a youngster playing Magic. And just anytime you ask anybody anything, it's like, hey, how do I do this? The immediate answer is Alt F4. And the amount of people, it was so gratifying on IRC too, because, right, then you just see like 4 people, like, so-and-so has quit the channel. Let's see. Yeah, thank you, Norathian, and thanks everyone for showing up. I think this went a million times better than I ever could have predicted, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, and thanks to Zaitsev again for moderating. It was really awesome, and you guys should definitely follow him as well. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and shut down here, guys. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys showing up. It was a lot of fun, and I will see you next time. So take care. Goodbye.